Welcome to Kermode Uncut. Something a little bit different this week. As you'll know if you're a regular visitor here at the site, I'm a huge fan of Wally Pfister, the director of cinematography. He started out making kind of Roger Corman-style exploitation movies and then became the DP for Chris Nolan's shot the Dark Knight movies. Well, Wally Pfister has just directed his first film, the forthcoming Transcendence. So here is the first part of a two-part interview with the magnificent Wally Pfister. So let me take you right back to the beginning of your career.
Sure.
I first became aware of your name. I was working at the Sight and Sound video column in the early 1990s, and every week you get in these straight-to-video erotic thrillers. They're all 89 minutes long, very much.
They were 89 minutes.
Yeah, very much from the Roger Corman school. There were certain things that you had to have, and I remember sitting and watching them. And my wife Linda she said, this name keeps coming up, and these films, whatever else you may think about them, they look really good. What did you learn from working on, very short shit, like 3 weeks maybe? Or what did you learn from it?
We did. What I learned, and you got this right in that show that you did where you were very, very gracious about it. It was really about cutting my teeth. I'd spent years, as a documentary cameraman, and it was a news cameraman and did documentaries, and I wanted to get into narrative filmmaking, and I got an incredibly fortunate start by being a camera operator for Robert Altman, who was really one of my heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, those were my heroes, were the 70s, the Mavericks, Hal Ashby, Robert Altman, Arthur Penn, these great maverick filmmakers of the 70s. So to work with Altman was incredible, and that is what made me want to get into narrative filmmaking and from documentaries. So of course, when you moved out to California, and I went to film school, I went to AFI for cinematography, and then went to work for Roger Corman. Erotic thrillers, horror movies, the most exploitive of cinematic. But we were shooting on film. We were finishing on film. We were really cutting our teeth in lighting. We were learning how to light fast because you had no choice.
Yeah.
These films were 15 to 18 days. We'd shoot an entire feature film, as opposed to Transcendence was 62 days, which was a short schedule compared to one of Chris's. But still 15 to 18 days to shoot a film. So it was a natural progression from the Roger Corman movies. When I'll never forget my first job on one of Greg Hippolyte's films was when the DP.
Greg Hippolyte is the guy who's also known as Greg Dark.
Also known as
Greg
Dark.
Brown.
Greg Brown, whatever.
Whichever genre he's in.
And Greg was a lot of fun to work with and really hilarious because he had no interest in anything that wasn't a sex scene. So any of the plot stuff, don't let that stuff get in the way. He would fall asleep when we were shooting, dialogue scenes. And then the second there was a sex scene, he'd come alive and come awake. What are we doing? Okay. And so the second we got into the bedroom setting, he was in his, element. So I did several of those films for Greg, and the real fun and challenge of those things was lighting fast.
Make him look good.
Making him look as good as I could, experimenting. That's where I did all my experimentation with lighting and testing and sort of, and also it was kind of a fun challenge to see how fast we could shoot these things. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget Andy Garoni, the producer, and Greg kind of coming to me and, after doing a couple of them, and it was a terrific first AD we were working with at the time too. And he said, we want to give you guys a challenge. We want you to shoot a feature film in 12 days. And he said, not only that, but we want you to shoot 2 back to back. Do you think you can do this? And so Greg and I talked about it. We're like, we have to shoot it all in one neighborhood. So we went to Hancock Park in LA. We had one house on one side of the street, another house on another side of the street, and we shot a few scenes from one movie the first week in one house, and then did a little bit of leapfrogging, and then had the week down, and then shot the rest of it, different actors in another house. So it was a fantastic exercise in flying, 6 to 9 pages a day.
This isn't the film which you had one of the Carradines for 3 days, and he was 2 days in one and 1 day in the other, and he only ever thought he was in one film.
It's very possible. I mean, David Carradine was a trip, man. He was really a lot of fun to work with, and look, we got a lot of these actors, a little beyond their heyday, and they were wonderful people that I just really enjoyed them. And David was one that was really, I'll never forget a scene with David, where all he had to do was he had to pull up in front of this house and stop the car, and with some actors like driving is a thing. And Dave was like, oh, okay, I have to drive the car, okay. I was like, yeah, but it's no big deal. You just, just pull up in front of the house and, here's the frame here. Just don't go too far, just stay in the frame. And, of course, take one. It's like, okay, he's pulling up, okay, cool. And he's got a mark where he's supposed to stop. There's a cone so he can see it, and the car just goes straight through the frame. Like, okay, cut, okay, the take two, let's go. Same thing. Car starts and like, David, you're supposed to stop in front of the house. And yeah, okay, yeah. No, I know that. So the next take, we put a pile of sandbags there, so the car pulls up, and so the sandbags will stop. And we're like, don't worry about it. We'll frame out the sandbags. It'll be fine. The sandbags will stop the car. So sure enough, car comes rolling for thing, ends up like this in the frame on top of the sandbag. And you're like, yeah, let's just get the stunt double to do it. But working with those guys was a blast. And by the way, that experience in that economy really served me well in my directorial effort.
So you've now directed your first feature, which we haven't seen because it's not finished. Tell me about it.
It's horrible. You
Is
don't
it
want to see it.
Because it looks
stay away
ghastly.
from it. It looks ghastly. The lighting's horrendous. It looks like a low-budget, straight-to-video porn, basically.
Okay, so like Michael Bay, but with no mom.
Well, you can go there. I can't go there. I'll get in trouble in Hollywood. No, I'm excited about the film and excited for you to see it. It's something I wanted to direct for a long time, and finally, I finally broke the ties to Chris and decided to go out on my own and make this film.
Where are you going?
Everywhere.
They don't know the danger.
If she connects to the internet, the first thing it'll do is copy itself, and then there is no taking it down.
Whatever it is, it's building an army out there.
This isn't evolution, it's an abomination.
This has gone too far, Will. Stop it!
I don't understand. This is the future.
This is not our future.